Yo, yo, Nation, we are live and in the building. It's going to be a goodie right here.
Yeah, I'm a Raider, Oakland Raider. From the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. I'm a player, a boss player. If you with me, pop your collar, shake them haters. I'm a Raider, Oakland Raider. From the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. I'm a player, a boss player. If you with me, pop your collar, shake them haters.
I'm from the city of Sac, rap the silver and black. Word of honcho, give me the strap. The realest is back. Stupid chop with some silly attached. Eye for an eye, fuck it man, give me a patch. I'm a Raider, Oakland, LA, Vegas, Jalen, Kenyon, Jacobs, Regis. Man, bruh, dog, we litty. The shine with the speed, Edwards with the 50-50. Yeah, they said I silver and Blackfield. Abram in the box, I'm Merrick in the backfield.
Yo, we are back in the building, man. Yes, it feels like it's been forever, even though we had an epic show last night. That bruh, I'm still trying to recover from the tears that I shed last night, bro. It was hilarious, man. Yeah, man. Bruh, if y'all didn't get a chance to check out the show last night, definitely go back and watch the live with me, my brother Wasted Talent, Stuart Swagger. You guys know our Raider, you know what I mean, former safety. We had a ball over here last night. Had Hammer's House in the building as well. Go check out that goodie. But tonight, we got a special, man. We got my guy, man. I don't know if you know, Wasted. I low-key told you, you know what I mean? But I went the other day. I took my boys to this backpack drive, right? In Plano, Texas. Shout out to Plano in the Dallas area. Also, shout out to Brandon Stevens, cornerback for the Baltimore Ravens. We went to go check out Jonathan Abram, right? He was supposed to be over there. He had a family emergency or something, I believe, so we couldn't make it, but we got to hang out. We met some great people. And Paul was one of those dudes, man, like he has the energy where you just instantly connect with him. He was out there playing with the kids, throwing the ball around. And me and my wife was like, man, you know, that energy, you know, we can always use that, right? You know, when you get around people that got that good energy, like, man, there's something about this person. I got to connect with them so we can bring our energy together. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, Paul Derousselle, you guys, NFL agent / attorney of law. You already know. Look, no further ado. Let's get my guy in the building, man. Yo, Paul, what's popping, brother?
What's up, brother?
Oh, how y'all doing, man? Good to see you again.
It's good to see you as well, King. I know you coming off that Miami trip, man. How was everything out there? Was it crazy?
Man, Miami was. Nah, man, you know, it was a good trip. A couple of guys who just went out there before they get ready to go to camp had an opportunity to sit down, just talk, catch up, talk about the goals, eat some good food, just enjoy being around each other, man, before, you know, you go into camp. Y'all know what it is, man. It's a lot of, you know, people are at different points in their career. Some guys, you know, fighting for a starting position, other guys fighting for superstardom. So, you know, everybody's at a different level. So just an opportunity for us as a group to be together. And I'm sure my mom's watching this, man. My flight left at 5. I landed and made it to church. So
there you go. You go. I love it. Shout out to my guy, Paul. For those, I know you haven't met my brother. This is Wasted Talent right here.
How are you, Paul? Nice to meet you, brother. You know, I did a little, you know, I did a little dive into you, brother, and I want to just say this before we get started, man. I'm impressed and I'm proud of what you're doing, brother. Yeah. Like to a point where, like, man, I was floored when I saw some of the things that you got going on, man. I'm just proud of what you're doing, man. Before we even get started, man.
That was one of the first things I told Paul when I seen him, man. I instantly was like, I just love to see a young brother out here, man, doing the things that you're doing. Not even just like the professional stuff. That's great. But when you were out there playing with the kids, man, throwing the ball around, like my son, literally, man, both. Well, you know, one of them really ain't into football. One of them loves it. And he was just talking about it the whole ride home. Like, oh man, he was so cool. So like, man, it's our honor, man, to have you on the show, my brother. And you have a home. Anytime you want to come talk that shit, or you want to just anything, you know what I mean? You want to shout out what you got going on, you definitely hit me up, and you can pull up anytime you want over here on both of our channels.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So This is, we do this weekly, brother. We stay at it. We pod all day, every day. So, you know what I mean? So you always have a home here. So for those who don't know, this most of our guys in here are Raider, right? You know what I'm saying? Raider guys. This is a Raider podcast, you know what I'm saying? But we were at Brandon Stevens, a backpack drive. He's a Baltimore Raven. I know you have two clients. One, Tyree Phillips, third rounder, plays for the Baltimore Ravens out of Mississippi State. You also have another defensive tackle superstar, once again, the Mississippi State connection, Jeffrey Simmons. And being an agent, right, I know you're excited right now because he's still on that rookie scale contract. For those who don't know, Tennessee did pick up his fifth-year option, which was very smart of them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But this man is about to blow the ceilings off the NFL. I mean, he already has. He's already, is he a second-team All-Pro? He's been was a Pro Bowler in, 2020, 2021? Yeah, I mean, so this, look, for those who don't know who Jeffrey Simmons is, y'all are sleeping under a rock. You know what I mean? At this point, let's just be real. But how do you feel, man? And no matter of fact, we'll wait for that. How did you meet these two guys? How'd that happen?
Man, it's crazy. Within our group, we have this thing, man. It's an acronym, and I'll let y'all in since y'all family. Y'all my family too. It's called YCMTSU. It means that you can't make this stuff up, right? So, not to go too much into, over talk about religion and how much God means to me, but I do believe that everything happens for a reason and the universe aligns. And I actually first met Jeffrey his rookie year, man. He was at the Pro Bowl with Jarrell Casey. Yep. I think Jarrell just brought him along because he was his rookie. So there's a video on my phone, man. I was out there playing ping pong at the Pro Bowl. I'm beating everybody, bro. I'm beating people, mamas, kids. You know me, man. I'm out there competing.
Bro, he was out there for real playing.
So I'm playing ping pong, and I see, I know what Jeffrey looks like. And I'm like, and he had the Omega Sci-Fi wristband on, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, man, I know who this dude is. I'm an alpha, greatest fraternity in the world. But Jeffrey's in a good group too, and he and I we just kind of started talking then, but it wasn't on business or anything. We just, every time we saw each other, we kept running into each other at the Pro Bowl over and over. And every time we saw each other, we shook hands, but that was that. At the time, I was actually representing DJ Chark, who was at his first Pro Bowl. And,
a guy that we know very well because
God,
before we traded for Devontae Adams, everyone was over here screaming about, let's go get DJ Chark on the list. You know what I mean? So go ahead, brother.
So that's where I first met Jeffrey. And at the time, Jeffrey didn't have an agent. He was one of those guys. A lot of guys are starting to go that route. He just, and as fate would have it, all these big entities were trying to get him. But his uncle, Jason Hatcher, former Cowboy.
Yeah, I remember Jason Hatcher.
Yeah,
Pro Bowler in 2013, man, from Grambling State University. Jason D. Wayne Hatcher. That was so he handled everything, and so he got Jeff to that point. Jeff's talent got Jeff to that point. But what I mean is, in navigating that pre-draft process with Jeff tore his ACL.
I remember that.
Only reason he fell to Tennessee. No offense to Tennessee, but y'all was never supposed to get that man at 19. Yeah. But so his uncle had actually handled all his process, and his uncle started this group called Walking Business Sports Group, which is the company that I'm the agent of right now. But all this is unbeknownst to me at the time. I didn't know none of this. But so Hatch navigated that process through Jeff, which was a tough thing. And, the next year he comes back. Jeffrey and Tyree Phillips, who you mentioned earlier, they're actually fraternity brothers. They close friends, best friends, always together. So Tyree came along to walk in business. So that level of success predated me. I can honestly say I had nothing to do with the recruitment of those guys. And I came along, and Jason Hatcher gave me that opportunity. He and I met multiple times, and I went through a whole rigorous process, man. And I was fortunate enough for them to see enough of me to give me this opportunity to represent two high quality guys. And there's also other guys we represent right now who are, either in the XFL. I don't want to, go through this and not talk about a D. Anderson, talk about a Caleb Carter, talk about a Trayvon Reed, talk about, Columbus Willis. Those guys are fighting too. And that's the thing about our company. We're going to treat our Pro Bowlers the same as our guys who fighting for roster. Right?
Bro, I noticed that. And I noticed that when I was going through your socials, and I noticed something very unique about you as an agent. When you think of an agent, you think of a guy who kind of just negotiates your contract and then his hands off. But it's very, very, it looks like, I see you training with your guys. Yep. You in the mud with these guys, man. Mm-hmm. That's something super, super unique. And I know that they appreciate it. But, what I'm curious about is that a gift and a curse, man, being so like close in age with some of your clients and being culturally like linked to them? Has that been a gift and a curse for you?
That's a great question, bro. That's a damn good question. I think that's something that you do fight, right? I can be 100% transparent. I think early on in my career, I suffered with that because I'm young enough to be in the club with you and chill with you, and it was about trying to like separate that because it's your gift in that you can relate with them, and we both listen to Young Boy. We can talk about similar things, but you have to have that level of separation where they still look at you as that guy. Like you're that guy. So it's a tangled web. It's difficult to navigate, but I think the more reps you get at it, man, because like I can be honest, I probably lost out on guys in the past that I probably maybe should have gotten. And I had to mature. I had to grow. If you look at me now, man, I don't drink anymore. Period. I gave it up. There's times I'm in the club, I can't be that guy, man, and we on the same type of time. Yeah. There's a time and place for everything. And I've grown, man, and matured, bro. But it was definitely a process. It was definitely a process because I think I'm a pretty cool guy. Sometimes people may think I'm not, but I think I'm a pretty cool guy. So you have to channel that and find that way to have that balance and build that rapport with your guys. And man, another thing, bro, is like every kid you represent is going to be different. Yeah. There's no one size fits all. For example. Tyree and I might talk on the phone for 75 minutes. And that conversation may range from everything to religion to, man, you heard the bass line on that new King George song? Like our conversations. Yeah. Whereas with Jeff not big on the small talk, man. Like Jeff will call you and talk for 5 minutes. But, my birthday just came up and I looked at my Cash App. First gift was from him. He's one of those guys like, if he's with you, he's really, really with you. He ain't gonna tell you he loves you that much, but he really loves you. So it's just finding that balance and building that rapport with each one of your guys, man.
Do you think there's a different mentality from the offensive lineman and the defensive tackle position? Like looking at those two guys, like you said, like one guy's just talk for 75 minutes. The other guys, because they're both in the trenches, but they're both on opposite sides of the ball. Is there a different mentality with both of these guys?
Man, you know what's crazy, bro? With Tyree, for example. Every time I've been out with Tyree, if I go to the bathroom or we're out, if I go to the bathroom, or if I'm leaving before them, he coming with me. Yeah. Like, look, and for me, it makes me look like I'm somebody because I got a big 6'6", 300. Yeah, right. And I don't know if the Ravens watching this right now, but he 320 right now. He looking real slim. He don't want to wear a shirt no more. He's the R&B old lineman, man. Y'all need to get him on the show one day. But JoJo. Whereas like with Jeff, man, Jeff will just walk up to you and punch you in the chest. When you're in the house, he'll just. But Jeff is very cerebral off the field. When he's on the field, he listen to him, Mike. He's a jerk, man. He really can do some things that's borderline questionable. But when he's off the field, he's very calm, cerebral. Real laid back guy, listening to gospel music and old blues. Wow.
Yeah, wow. You would never think that somebody has got to bring that kind of danger every kind of play. Yep. I mean, for me, like when I was looking, I saw that you started off in law, right? And we call this show Built Different. Because we feel like we're built different. We have a story that's very, very unique to bring us to the men that we are now, right? And with you being a lawyer and wanting to be a lawyer, man, and then getting to where you were now is super, super unique to me, man. And there's a name I wanted to throw out there, and I want to know what it means to you. Johnny Cochran.
I like that. That's crazy, bro. I feel like you done read some stuff about me, man. You done made me start crying. Hey, Rose, check this out. Real talk, man. I want to give a shout out before I even go to the Lions. I'm still practicing. I work with Durant and Carthorne. I had the opportunity to work with my mentor pretty much every day, man, which is a good thing. We have officers in Louisiana, Texas, very, very smart people, bro. And at some point, I'll be able to tell you how there's a parallel between those two and how they intertwine. But, man, Johnny Cochran, bro, I was like a kid. And I don't know, well, y'all don't know how old y'all are, but I'm telling some of my age right now. But I wanted to be a lawyer because of Johnny Cochran. Early on in that trial, the O.J. Simpson trial. Now, regardless, we ain't gonna go into whether he was guilty or not guilty. I don't want to.
Don't go down that wormhole.
I ain't going down. They're gonna be talking about me in the comments, bro. I'm trying to be as controversial as possible. But you know, at that time, man, all you ever like, there were a few lawyers from where I was from, but I'd never seen it. And at one point, Robert Shapiro was the lead attorney, but then Johnny Cochran stepped in. Mm-hmm. And bro, my mom had me watching the trial because, you know, when you a black kid growing up, you watch the soap operas over the summer. So they had cut the Young and the Restless off to put on like Johnny Cochran. And I was like, who is this dude? Like his suit was everything. I've never seen a lawyer with that level of swag before. Yeah. So man, I'm just sitting there watching it like this, bro. It's two things I'm doing. I'm going outside and hooping, and I'm coming back and watching the thing. And I made the decision like, okay, bro, I think I want to be a lawyer. I didn't know nothing about it. But that sparked that interest. And that's why you never know what kid is watching you, man. So I had the utmost respect for Johnny Cochran, man. Not just for what he did in the OJ trial. You know, people talk about that's like maybe his career, but nah. Buddy was involved in civil rights, everything. Yes. He was that guy, man. Like when you talk about the upper echelon, if we talk about a football player, he was complete in every facet. Opening, closing, direct. He had it all. He had all the tools. He had everything in his bag. Kind of like Max Crosby in the pass rushing. You know, everything was in his bag, man.
There you go. See,
you brought it back to a Raider perspective, right?
That's why Paul, you know, this is why he's going to make the big bucks, man, for a long time. Because he read the room right. You know what I mean?
You got to read the room, bro. Look, I know.
Hey, let me ask you this. Okay, I know you're a former athlete. I seen it when you were playing with, you know, throwing the ball around with the kids. Give us a little bit about your journey. You know, I checked something out on YouTube as well. You know, for those who don't know, you know, Paul's nickname at one point was it the Yellow Mamba?
But look, man, bro, I'm gonna keep it a band with y'all, man. They call me Lil Paul back home, right? Okay. Lil Paul.
Hey, and everybody's in the building right now too. Shout out to everybody that's over here checking out my boy Paul. You got family in the building, all in the comment section.
Shout out to the E, man, Eunice, Louisiana. Hey, they knew I was coming with the shout out to Eunice first and foremost. That's my city, man. 337, home of the Black Pots, man. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all about the Black Pots later. Y'all got to come down to the camp we having next year, man. But man, just like you asked me to tell you a little bit about like the Yellow Mamba, man. That was just something I came up when I was hooping. Yeah, and, you know, I'm light skinned, so I just started calling myself the Yellow Mamba. Nobody really went with the nickname, bro. It's kind of like, you know, when you start trying to give yourself, it didn't really stick, bro. I think like my mom, maybe my daughter, about like 5 people. It ain't really work out for you, boy, man. But man, my background, man, as far as sports, basketball was always my favorite sport. Played football. I was good at recess, first team all recess, of course. But, you know, I actually gravitated more towards tennis because I hit my growth spurt late. So I wasn't really getting many looks. I was like, look, man, I got to find a sport that can be mine. And I started playing tennis. One of the only black kids playing, man. I'm at the country club out there. I was playing tennis in tennis shoes, not the real. I was out there beating boys in Jordans. I don't think I had my first pair of tennis shoes out like 15, but I really loved the game. I was able to get a scholarship at Southern University, you know, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Yes, graduated there, majored in English, pledged Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Beta Sigma chapter. And from there, man, I was involved in the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Went on to law school immediately after that. You know, law school, man, going into law school, I didn't do well on my LSAT, if we're being honest. The LSAT is like your admissions test. Mm-hmm. And it was looking kind of skeptical as to whether I was going to even get in with the score I had. I ain't going to tell y'all what I made. All right, bro, look, it's like this. If I was a wide receiver, my LSAT score was like I ran a 4.88 in the 40.
Oh, no.
All right. So
little spooky.
Yeah, it was a little spooky. So, you know, I was supposed to get in, man, but I really locked in. Yeah. Ended up graduating magna cum laude, top 4 in my class.
Let's go.
I really took it seriously, and the goal was, I knew the agency thing was something that I would do, man. I always knew, and I knew, but I didn't know how to get there, man. I was like, okay, do I try to get up with these LSU players? I didn't have a path. I was like, you know, I get this law degree, make as good a grade as possible, get to a big law firm and get that on my name. Because, you know, I knew, you know, I don't have, the world doesn't view Southern University like Harvard. I mean, just talking about like the legal community. So I needed to latch onto a big firm that would give me a level of credibility. Lo and behold, I ended up at Wild, Gottschall, and Manges, man, top 5 firm in the world. Spent 5 years there, and I learned a lot, man. I grew, did what I had to do, and obviously, eventually, I transitioned into taking the agent exam, man.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man, hearing that you came from a historically Black university, man, and taking that and kind of climbing your way out, not out of the mud, but climbing your way out of kind of obscurity, because a lot of, you know, like in the agent world, and when it comes to whatever business you're in, it's all about relationships and kind of knowing the directions to the next intersection. Mm-hmm. Since you've gotten to where you are, because there aren't a lot of people in the echelon of life that you're in now, have you been kind of paying it forward and reaching back and trying to like kind of giving the younger guys that are trying to walk the same path as you kind of directions to get to where you are? Because I know, like, when you take these tests to become an agent or to, you know, like be a part of the NFL, you know, Agents Association or whatever, I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Have you been like kind of paying it forward and reaching back to some younger guys?
I have to, bro. Like, I have a Facebook Live show. It's called Pod On Live. Any of those guys are watching right now, they know that they can call me about anything. As far as because I feel like I'm obligated, bro. You know, I'm from a small town, man. I ain't supposed to be here, and I'm aware of that. I think so many times people get to a certain place in life, and they think I did it. You know, like I made it. I'm him.
Guys,
you know, I mean, I'm the product of so many people, bro. From a praying mom to my Sunday school teachers to the whole city. So many people helped me get here, bro, that I have to. I'm obligated. You know what I mean? Like, it's an obligation. So there's guys right now who have just become agents. I send them the study guide for the test. I'm giving them the game because, you know, I wasn't fortunate enough to have anybody to give me a blueprint. As a matter of fact, you know, a lot of people in this business saw me as a threat coming up, so people wasn't really helping me. And I said, you know what, man, I want to be at the forefront of this next wave of agents. And if I can help them, I'm going to give them as much game as I can, help them navigate, teach them how to recruit, help them pass the test, because that test can be difficult along the way. And specifically with people who come from HBCUs, man, I feel an obligation there. There's a young lady named Keisha. She and I probably said on Twitter, we both went to Southern. I'm going to be a champion for her entire career, because she's a Black woman trying to break into this business and bring other people with her. So, man, every chance I get, I'm going to help somebody. Like, regardless, bro. Like, I have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Just seeing the energy. And I look. I mean, I'm a big believer in energy, like a firm believer, man. I'm gonna keep like saying that over and over, man. Like meeting you the other day, man. It was a blessing because I felt that energy, man. I know you're going places, and I know you know because you put the work in, right? You know what I mean? You're with these guys. I know yesterday you were in Miami. You were talking, I think, what, DeMarcus Ware, you guys were doing your thing on a boat or something?
Bro, I gotta tell you about this, man. And, you know, I can't talk about myself too much without talking about my team and the people that's around me. But I know people do that all the time as cliches, but, like, I'm not sitting here if Jason Hatcher doesn't believe in me, right? Yeah. It's every agent in the world was knocking down this man's door saying, hey, let me get on Jeffrey Simmons' SRA. And he believed in me, bro. And like, he kicked my ass along the way. He'll tell you that if he's in the comments. It's hard. Like, it was hard. I felt like I got hazed. But I'll tell you this, man. We all went out there. It's myself, Andre Garrard, 5-time Pro Bowler for the Cowboys. He was there too, man. And it was at one point, man, we were all sitting out at the pool. And I looked around, man, and you know, sometimes there's something about looking at the water that makes you get real reflective. For real. I don't know what it is, bro, but I was just looking at the water, and I looked out, because you could look into the house where we were staying, man, and I looked up, bro. Here you have Andre Garrard and Tyree Phillips doing O-line stuff, like on the iPad. Yeah. And you look in the kitchen, and it's DeMarcus Ware with Montez Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons teaching them counters.
Mississippi State all over the place,
bro.
Man,
And you look around, bro, and you just like, this is absolutely crazy, man. So like that level of like mentorship and having those people around, man, that's a beautiful thing, man. We all saw each other yesterday at Fontainebleau. The NFL is a big fraternity, man. You had Brandon Jacobs, all these guys together, the rookie running back that the Redskins just took, and they instantly just took a picture together. Like the NFL is really a fraternity, man.
Brandon Jacobs from a small town in Louisiana as well. I have a homegirl out here in Dallas. That's her first cousin. They're from the same town out there in Louisiana. Brandon Jacobs.
He went to Assumption.
Yep, there you go.
Real good guy, man. He you know, when he played for the Giants, you know, he used to do, you know, move and shake around the area I'm from New Jersey. So he used to be around a lot. You know, real nice guy, man. Good guy.
Absolutely, man. He was a nice guy, man.
Let me ask you this, Paul. This is kind of, I guess, a tough question, but it is what it is. How do you plan ahead for something that, like Jeffrey Simmons moving forward? There's going to be a big contract here soon. We know this, right? And we can't go into too many details because, you know, you got to keep a lot of that behind the scenes. When you got these, you know, the Adam Schefflers of the world and the Ian Rappaport, like you got all these, like, just give us an idea of what goes into the whole, because this is life-changing. This is life-altering. Like at this point, when Jeffrey Simmons gets that extension, not only does his life change, your life changes as well. You know what I mean? Like what goes into this thought process, knowing that you're going to have a massive extension here soon, and with all these guys, all these moving parts around you, like how do you set yourself up for that, man?
First thing is the preparation, bro. Like you really look, it's here. It's here. The preparation. I think you have to be prepared for the moment, man. And you mentioned a lot about like my background, who I am. Yeah. I'm always going to be prepared, and I think that's where that being a lawyer comes into play, because a lot of us have a type A personality. And we you know, one of the biggest things about being an attorney is that you don't ever want to ask a question that you don't already know the answer to, and you want to be able to know what the other side is going to say and everything that they're going to do. So the first step, man, is to be prepared for the moment and know that the stage isn't too big. And, you know, if I'm confident, Jeff is going to be confident, and everybody else is going to be confident. So just having that level of confidence, and that confidence comes from preparing. So at this point, you know the market. We know what Aaron Donald signed for. We know Crosby's deal. You know all of that already, right? So that's the first thing, right? You're gonna want to know and assess the market. The market is the market, right? And you can't do anything about that. Then you know, some people are big on PFF. There's a John Robinson. There's a quote where he's saying he don't care about PFF. He's like, I care. Can you play ball? You know,
we don't either. We don't either over here. We talk about it, but we don't really care too much about it.
So and then there's, you know, talking to the player about the player's expectations, because at the end of the day, you work for Jeffrey Simmons, right? We know internally what that number is going to look like, because we've already had those discussions, and you're just preparing the player for everything, for every angle, right? Like, here's where they may come back, here's where we are, and as an agent, you're just helping them navigate it, because ultimately it's the player's decision, right? But you have to be that conduit of information, and that goes, you know, we've had internal conversations that I won't go into. I mean, and external on both sides have had. There's been communication there, and I can tell y'all that much. But aside from that, you know, we know what Jeffrey's worth. Jeffrey knows what Jeffrey's worth. Everybody in the NFL knows what he's worth. So
he knows.
I mean, so it's not like I'm some, you know. Part of being an agent, man, I hate when you see stuff. They're like, he got such and such $100 million. No, you didn't. Like, now an agent ain't never went to an OTA. If you have a great player, bro, a talent like a Jeffrey Simmons, they're gonna get paid no matter who their agent is. Let's just keep it a band. Like, I'm getting this opportunity because they see something in me, and I'm gonna prepare, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I'll be honest with you, man. You ask me, like, what do? You get happy? Yeah, man, like Ian Rappaport called. I've gotten more phone calls from ESPN people, bro. Like, you like, what? This is who? But, you know, you got to be on the phone and act like you've been there before, right? So I'm on the phone. I'm cool with it. I get off the phone. Look, soon as I'm on the phone, Mom. I go in my group message, Gruff. Bro, I just talk. So there's that excitement, man, because, like, you don't think you're going to get to do this, man. Like, let's just be real. Like, growing up, I was getting my butt kicked as an agent early in my career, bro. I couldn't catch a break.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell y'all off air about so many times I would get to the playoffs and get bounced. Like I was always in the top 3 or 4, and even when it was time for my first major player to get paid, you know, he went another route. So it's like I'm thinking that my career over and it's done for me, and it's not. So if you see me smiling a lot, man, and I'm happy, and you see my energy, bro, just know that like this is genuine, and it just I know I belong, but I'm still happy to be here. But that makes sense.
And I think you guys realize that fighting you too. Like they see that. They know that you want to show the world and show yourself that you belong here. You know what I mean? And you're gonna fight for your guys. I can see that. Like I said, energy. When I got around you, I was like, man, he seems like a dude that's gonna go to bat for anyone around him. You know what I mean? And go ahead, Wasted. I got you.
But you know, it's always been something I was curious about when it comes to contract negotiations, players, teams. I have kind of like a 2-pronged question. One,
2-pronged. Hey man, you was giving law school exams? 2-pronged. All right, I see you with the prong word. All
right. But it's 2 things. One is there like an invisible level of respect that you need to garner to play in a certain echelon of agents with these teams? Because I know that there are certain agents who are like the superstar agents around the National Football League, not to name any names, but we know like the Drew Rosenhaus of the world, right? Mm-hmm. Guys like that. When you're a guy that's coming up, do you feel like the teams recognize that you're supposedly green, and do the players recognize that, and you feel like there's this level of respect that you have to kind of establish with the players and the teams to be able to play in that world?
Yeah, that's a great question, bro. And I think, you know, was there something called imposter syndrome where they say like you don't feel like you belong? I think the first thing, you got to take that internal look and believe that you him. So before I can convey to you or any other general manager in the world, bro, it's like I got to make sure that I can look in the mirror and believe that I'm him. So like for me, like I know David Mulligan, Drew Rosenhaus, all these so-called super agents, right? You just mentioned Drew Rosenhaus. You say all the deals he's done. The name that comes to mind for me is Robert Bailey. That was his first client ever. So all these guys from Bus Cook on down, they had to sit in that room at some point and be nobody. They weren't already themselves. So like I think when you're dealing with these teams and these general managers, man, you project this level of confidence and mix it with humility and contrition. They'll gravitate you. You know, first conversation I ever had with a major GM, he and I talked about him growing up in Louisiana and building some type of commonality. But then there's also that element, bro. Like I've been an attorney for 12 years, right? Yeah. 12 years. Like I didn't just jump off the porch and say I like athletes. Let me go. You know, no. 12 years, high level. Over 250 to 300 mediations in my career. So, you might think I'm green, and with all due respect, that's cool. But if you dig a little deeper and you delve, and it's time for us to go negotiate, you're going to have to pack a lunch. And I'm not going to be doing all this corny stuff through the media, doing all this. It ain't about me, bro. Like, I'm not about to do that. We're going to come here, and we're going to negotiate, and I'm going to show you if I'm like that. Like, we're going to come to an agreement. And that doesn't have to be making disparaging remarks. And to me, I think it's kind of a breath of fresh air for these teams to deal with an agent who's coming in. You call it green. I call it I'm untampered. I haven't been poisoned, right? I come into it with a perspective like, hey, man, let's do this collaboratively. This doesn't have to be contentious. I studied all these mediations. We're taking all these classes. You got a number, I got a number. Why do we have to come up to the negotiate with this stupid astronomical number when we know the cap won't allow it, when we know all that? Let's be real. Let's have a conversation. You don't try to pick our weaknesses and pick at him through the media. Let's keep everything internal and let's work through it. You know, that's all. Like it doesn't have to be this big ordeal, man. Let's work it out.
Now to the second part of my question, real quick. I'm sorry.
No,
but how much do peripheral things play into the negotiation, bro? Because it just seems like there's a lot of things that like when us as fans, right? We give our opinions. We're out there. You have people on social media, you know, people in the media that, like, you know, at large, people saying things, hearing backdoor things. Like, how much at the negotiated table does that factor into what happens?
I mean, it's human nature, right? That's a great word too, periphery, man. I enjoyed that one. But
Hey, that is what Wasted is known for in the Raider community. I promise you
his words.
Yes, his words. I'm like, that's what everybody knows him for.
Hey, I love myself a big word too, bro. I used commiserate the other day, man. You can use that one too, bro. Like that's one of my.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you for letting me borrow that one, bro.
Hey, man. Like it's like all our words. It's in the universe, man. I'm an English major, bro. So I appreciate a good word every now and then. So thanks for that one. But so we man, there are things on the outside that play, right? You're looking at a guy's character, the commitment to the organization, how they're viewed in the community. Of course, that's human nature, right? There are some things on the outside that factor in, that player's durability, how that player acts off the field. I tell my guys all the time, you get a second contract, that's really the team saying, I trust you to give you all this back. It's more of a trust thing. I trust that you're going to get this money and keep being who you are. Yeah. You know, not like when you get married, you get the girl and you just, oh, I got her now. Like, no, you have to show. So character, all those things matter. And salary cap, while we don't believe that it's a real thing, like we know that you can finesse the salary cap, there's a lot of outside things. Like who else is up to getting paid right now on the team? Yeah. There's so many things that like fans don't get. Fans won't, like, ain't no fan in the world about to take no pay cut at their regular job. So they always want players to take these team-friendly deals and do all these things, man. NFL players got to get their money, bro, because their careers are on average 3 years. If you get a second bite of that apple, you got to make that bite count because you're probably not getting a third one.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this, because we all heard, you know, how cutthroat it can be in that world. Like, you know, with NFL agents, NBA agents, like, I know there's some snipers out there, right? We know it can be a cold game. As a God-fearing man, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you factor that in like in this cold, like, because I see a lot of these guys, let's be honest, Paul, a lot of these athletes don't really have like there's really no trust. Like I've seen guys bounce around from agent to agent, you know what I'm saying? And like, how do you build that rapport with someone like that brotherhood that you have with like a Tyree Phillips or like a Simmons? Like, how do you build that up? Is it something that comes with just time, or was it just something when you guys first met each other, it was just like, wow, this is real, this is honest? Because that's a cold game that you're in. You're coming from a law background as well, where that's a cold game. So I think you kind of know how to navigate already because of what you've been through as well. But how do you build that rapport with these guys? Because at any point, a lot of these guys can say, you know what, I'm moving on, I'm going to somebody else, you know what I mean? And so on and so forth. Like how do you move daily knowing that in the back of your head?
It's tough, right? I think the first thing is realizing, like, bro, this is what I signed up for. Yeah. I mean, once you're knowledgeable, feel like I've signed up to get my heart broken. And I tell kids all the time, like people who trying to come into this business, if you watch Jerry Maguire a couple of times and you like, oh, I think it'll be cool to take pictures wearing a suit and do it. Like, bro, if you ain't got the heart for this, don't try it at home. And I also believe that you can't know the player until you know the person. So, man, like I prefer to build relationships organically. Like, I'm not coming in there with like I told you earlier, there's no one size fits all for any one player, man. So in reading, I've prayed a lot, but I think I have a really good spirit of discernment and being able to tell who's genuine, who's authentic. You're going to get your heart broken in this business, bro. I got mine broken. I lost a kid that I've known since he was 17 years old. And it's like I got, and it happens. Yeah. But you can't let that change who you are, man. I promised myself that when I got in this business, I would come change the culture. I wouldn't let the culture change me. I'm not going to be cutthroat. I'm not going to be a snake, bro. I've gotten to this point, bro. I'm getting the opportunity right now to represent Jeffrey Simmons. And next year, Tyree is coming right back up, maybe, possibly, next year. So by being a good, genuine, authentic person, bro, I believe that you ain't got to be like that, bro. Like, I didn't have to come on here in a suit. I believe that I could be myself and build those relationships, learn who those kids are, play basketball together. You meet people where they are, bro. Like, and that's the thing. You, as an agent, some days you're going to be a therapist. Yeah. Some days you're going to be out there training with them. Like, so it's just about me believing that if I put in the work, the snakes can't come take it from me. But also, what I'm also learning, like, I'm not about to sign no kid that I got to buy with money because you know what I mean? Live by the gun, you die by the gun. Because one thing, right, in this business is one thing to sign a player, is another thing to have player retention. Because a lot of these 5th, 6th round guys you get, nobody knows who they are. They blow up right before it's time for them to get to their second contract. Next thing you know, they're going to one of the big guns. Yeah. So a lot of that is I'd rather have 5 guys that's gonna ride with me and we loyal and we with each other than 23 and I'm losing sleep every night, wondering if they in somebody else DMs and wondering if they're gonna leave me. Yeah. So it's very, very slippery, but you really gotta know how to navigate it.
But you guys are tight knit. You could tell that the love is genuine when we see you guys around each other. Like it's genuine. Like it looks like it's just a bunch of brothers that grew up together and they're kicking it, but they know when business is business and when when you guys can play a little bit. Like I love the connection that you guys had. Like it felt like I was around some guys that I grew up around. Like I looked at y'all, I was like, damn, that's dope. Hey, like for real.
The crazy thing about it, man, is that it's not for show. Sometimes you'll take a picture. We don't take pictures of a lot of the stuff that's like we just recently started taking pictures. Like that's the crazy part. Like we just saw. Like we like, man, bro. Why don't we ever take pictures? Like we sit there. Like the day you and I met, bro. And I believe I was at the house. I was doing some work. Tyree called me. Yo, Pete, pull up to this camp with me. I had no idea. I pull up to the camp. I thought I was just gonna go there and play around. I saw football. I saw a field. Next thing you know, I'm out there. Me and Tyree going to eat African food afterwards, man. So that's what's cool for me, man. It's like I never had a brother growing up. So like I get to have little big brothers and I get to play a role, man, and help them. Not just, I know a lot of times you're seeing us doing the fun, like what looks to be, Tyree and I go to Bible study. Me and Jeff are exchanging Bible verses, sending each other gospel songs. So it's a lot of things that go into it, man. It's a beautiful thing when you think about it, like to be this blessed and have this opportunity.
The Mississippi State connection, man,
is strong, brother.
Give me something about one of our own, Jonathan Abrams.
Jonathan Abrams, great. Yes. Hey, man. So I met Jonathan a couple of times. He was over there, American Indoor trains. Shout out to my guy Adam, bro. He's one of the best in the business, man. Everybody goes to him. Jonathan Abrams, bro. He's a character, bro. He's a funny guy, man. And from what I've seen, he works really hard. I know he's managed, or his agent is Marlon, guy from Baton Rouge, who I know is a very nice guy. But Jonathan Abrams, he's a dog. I remember he telling me like this year he feels like schematically y'all gonna be putting him in positions to play more to his strengths. So, I think that's what he said. And I don't know what that means, but I guess that means he'd be maybe more so in the box. I know they're gonna put him in positions to succeed more, and I think
he needs to be in the box pretty much. Like, well, what he's saying is we spoke with shout out to my boy Stu. He's our brother, man. He used to be a safety in the league, played at Purdue, played for the Raiders for many moons. He spoke with his former head coach out of Mississippi State. He said since he's been in the league, these defensive coordinators, they just keep playing them. They're not playing them to his strengths. So I'm assuming that Patrick Graham this year, our defensive coordinator, is going to play him in that box and get him closer to the line of scrimmage, because the guy is a missile, man. When you get him close, when you get him up there, what I mean? When you're playing him more like a linebacker, let's just be real, what I mean? So I'm excited about the whole moving forward with Jonathan Abrams. I know he has a chip on his shoulder as well because we didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So I know he's going to go out there and fight like a dog for that next contract.
Mike might come back to bite the Raiders, though. He go crazy. Y'all had a luxury of having that 5th-year option hanging over his head. So in a lot of ways, you got to just look at it like this is an opportunity. They might have to franchise tag him if he balls out enough, and that tag number is going to be significantly higher than the 10.2 he would have gotten on the 5th-year option.
Yeah, brother, that's a good problem for the Raiders to have, the way I look at it. Yeah. It's a good problem for us to have at the end of the year. If he balls out, then that means that we had a great season. But
oh, my bad. Sorry.
No, good, brother. Go ahead.
Crazy part is, man, the day after I met you, the very next day I met a Raiders legend from the front office. With
Reggie McKenzie.
Reggie McKenzie, bro. Like, I'm sitting there at the camp once again, hanging out with Tyree, just minding my business, vibing. I look and I see him, bro. And I don't know if y'all ever been in the club before or not in y'all past life. And you see a girl, you just don't know if you want to go talk like, should I go shoot my shot?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I'm sitting there, and Tyree looks at me. I say, and Tyree like, P. I was like, I'm going over there. Yeah. So I wait till he sit down. Next thing you know, man, he and I talked for about 50 minutes. And he talked about the glory days, man. He, talked about obviously, what he did well, his exit, how it all went, man. But bro, I was so happy to meet him. I was more excited to meet Reggie McKenzie than like maybe anybody, because to me he's a legend.
McKenzie got one of your guys out of, he went. So what happened was he had one of the greatest drafts of all time. I mean, let's just be real. A lot of the other, don't get me wrong, there was some up and down draft classes. But for you to get a Gabe Jackson, a Khalil Mack, and a Derek Carr in one
Bro, he talked about this, and
I
wish I'd have known y'all did this show at this point, because he talked about when they drafted Khalil Mack. He like, bro, I stood on the table. Like he told that background story.
Yeah,
and bro, you know me, I love ball so much, man. I ain't even an agent no more. I'm asking him questions like, bro, so how did I low-key think I'm little baby Stephen A or one of these guys too. So I'm just like, I might have used the Stephen A word. I said, you had the temerity. So I'm just using, you got that one too.
Definitely. You had the unmitigated gall to bring this man.
The gumption. Anyway,
the gumption.
But so he and I, man, I talked to him, and once again, man, just to talk about, he talked about when he left, and we talked a little bit about that draft, the front office, and then the new transitions. But man, to sit and talk with a legend, man, and know what he's been through and how he actually got the job based on his Green Bay connect, like how he even ended up in Green Bay. He thought he was just gonna be like, they just wanted him to come around and look at film. He had no idea that he had this eye, man. Then obviously he talked about
he's in Miami now too, right? Miami, right?
Yeah, he talked a little bit about what happened with, I asked him about what happened with Flores, and I was asking some good. Hey man, I was asking some pretty cool questions along the way, but at the same time, whole time I'm talking to him, I got a 6'6" receiver by the name of D. Anderson who can go. He was at LSU. He can play. And I'm just like, all right, bro, I'm gonna hit you up. So I set a reminder in my phone. I got to text him Tuesday. I'm trying to get my boy in, man. So it was great to talk to him.
Bro, I see you a question. Go ahead, brother. Yo, has dealing with like kind of seeing how the sausage is made ruined the way you look at the game?
You mean like do I watch the game differently,
just your love? Because I can tell you love the sport, bro. Anybody can tell that. Anybody can tell it. It comes through, bro. And this is my first time having an interaction with you. But dealing with contract negotiations, seeing what goes into what player goes where, who, what, where, how it all kind of like graphs together, so to speak. Because has it ruined the way that you view the game? Has it ruined some love that you have for the game?
Yeah.
It's crazy. When I was a kid, man, I met Eddie DeBartolo. He was the GM for the 49ers. And I remember walking up to him. I'm like 7 years old. I said, hey, bro, how y'all going to pay Joe Montana and Steve Young? And my parents looked at me like what's wrong with this kid, bro? So I've always viewed the game through a different lens. I always understood that there was a business to football. I was never one of those little kids who cried with my bro. Maybe I'm just different. My mom, if she's in the comments, she'll tell you, bro, like I didn't even watch cartoons like that. So I've always understood that there was a business side. So I'm not really jaded, but I still love football, and I'm almost able to just turn it off and on, bro. And I know that's like maybe not the answer you wanted, but
that's a talent.
I can turn it. I can literally watch a Titans game and see the beauty of Jeffrey Simmons like blowing something up without thinking about, oh yeah, that's another M. Like it's like when I'm in that zone, I know how to be a fan and I know how to be an agent, but I can't explain how. Like I'm not. Now I will say this: I look at fantasy football and other stuff differently. I'll be wanting to tell people like, man, F your fantasy team, bro. This is my life. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care about your like. I look at it like that. I look at certain GMs. I look at certain GMs. I look at NFL ownership a little differently. I look at. I used to look at NFL owners and GMs with such reverence, but I'm like, bro, this like it's blackjack. Y'all the house. We trying to win. And, so I do look at things a little differently on the business side. But all in all, bro, the purity and the love I have for football, I've been blessed that it won't go away.
So you have a line of demarcation between the business of the sport and the actual sport itself then?
I said all that. I gave you that long ass answer. That's what I should have just said. I'm gonna use that. What you just said, I'm gonna use.
That is another wasted word of the day.
I'm gonna say, hey, bro, next interview you gonna be like, he is in my bed. It's our bed. I'm gonna say, man, hey, I'm gonna go in there like, man, I'm just able to have a line of. I'm gonna say you just have a line of demarcation between the business side of football and the actual game. And I'm gonna shout you out though, bro.
I appreciate you, dog.
I like that question though because. I've always, our podcast, man, we do this for a living. Like, a lot of us do this for a living. And I always told myself I would never want to work for the Raiders because I love them so much that if I got in that building and I started seeing how things operated, I don't want to look at it differently. You know what I mean? Like, because I love them so much that I don't want to feel like wow, what did I get myself into? And I don't want to lose any love for it. You know what I mean? And we get the freedom to do what we want to do over here, which is great. You know what I mean? So, but you know, I love that question, Wasted, because I've always said that to myself too. Like, could I imagine myself working for something that I love like that, but knowing that there's this crazy stuff that happens? Just
but like, you know, man, being an agent, like the other side of it, you get to see the beauty. You get to see stuff in the game that people don't know. Like people don't know how hard these guys work in the off season.
Yeah,
like you don't. People don't know, right? They just see what happens on Sunday. They don't understand the work you put into, so it makes you appreciate it even great. So I get it. Like on one side, you see the ugly side of the game, the business side, the holdouts, all that. But then there's a certain level of like when you sit and talk with Tyree, you know, who started playing football his senior year in high school, and like you see how he is now, and you see, you know, I get that opportunity to see the work, man. It's kind of like being in the kitchen with somebody and, you know, watching them cry, cutting the onions. But then you get to see the meal, and you're like, okay, I was with you. I understand what's going on. So, man, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Hey, Q wants to know, man. Shout out to my guy Q. A lot of people in the chat, and we're not gonna keep you all night. I promise.
I'm here, bro. Look, I'm here.
My brother.
I'm
great.
here with my JeffreySimmons.com t-shirt on. Y'all, look, y'all just, you know, I could have Max Crosby and Jeff, the top 2 defensive tackles in football. You know,
we would love that. We would love that.
Hey,
we wanted him.
Yes. Oh no, we definitely wanted Jeffrey Simmons. So, you know what? We play the Titans this year, and I want to bring you on this show so we can have that week.
Where's the game at?
It's in Tennessee. I'm flying out there. It's in Nashville.
Man, okay. All right.
So we already talked about getting some coffee and a cigar or something soon. We're gonna sit down and let's make that happen.
So look,
Q wants to know when you watch like people like Christian Kirk, right? They got the astronomical contract from Jacksonville. Then you watch them follow up, like even Zay Jones. You know, look, we're a fan of Zay, but he didn't do a lot, but he did pretty good for us in a year where we lost a lot of players because, you know, I know you pay attention to the game. So you've seen our Raiders last year go through a lot with the Henry Ruggs situation and losing Gruden and all the other stuff. Zay Jones definitely did step up, but that contract that he got is crazy. Like when you see these guys do you kind of like look at that like, oh, I can't wait till my guys pop up because we about to get these bags for real.
I mean, I like it. I think most agents, we like it when we see deals that maybe are considered outliers. Because look, bro, I'll never comment on another man's bag. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to do that as an agent. Yeah. If they say he deserves $72 million, guess what? He deserves 72, right? Like, in the back of your mind, we know, but publicly, I never say it. But you got to think about it. It kind of helps the agent community in that teams don't want to really let those good guys get out. It's kind of like that beautiful woman. Do you really want to let her get out there on the market? Yeah. Because there's somebody out there with a bigger bag, right? So these teams, like Jacksonville had the money. So you like having that threat. All right, bro, you're going to let us go test the market. You might want to try to extend now and not let it get to free agency. So when you see deals like that, man, I look at it a couple of things. You look at that team situation, their spending habits, what they're trying to accomplish. Maybe schematically, maybe that team feels like Christian Kirk is a number one. Maybe he was a 3 to y'all, but he's a 1 for us. So a lot of that goes into it, but I'd like to think that, you know, these guys in the personnel department and their scouting, you know, every team has a pro scouting department. They're scouting guys year round. So somebody in that room, they looked at it, they're like, we got enough money. And obviously, you know, with Jacksonville, DJ was gone because he got hurt. And he
probably had to overpay. Let's just be honest.
Most of them it's not deemed a destination market. They're gonna have to pay more, right? They're gonna have to. So, I mean, eyebrows raised when you see certain deals, but somebody got the money, right? That's the way I look at it. Somebody's gonna. You can call it overpay. I'm just gonna say that team paid what they had. Yeah. Okay. Hey, let me ask. I know because I know Wasted got some fire. He got some haymakers over there in that paper somewhere. I know. I can't wait. Bro, this Wasted is my guy, bro. I can't wait to follow you on Instagram, bro. Look, I'm commenting on all your pictures, bro. We cousins now. Second cousins brother. Twice removed. I don't know what that means, but I heard it on the movie. We second cousins twice removed. How do you balance your career and fatherhood? Oh man. Great question, bro. My baby, I don't know if she's watching. She probably is. My daughter, man, she's 11. She's my twin. If you've seen my page, man,
Definitely a twin.
I soften up. Like I start smiling even when you say my little baby name, man. I've been blessed to have, first thing I think, you gotta be very smart in who you select as your child's mother. And although we're co-parenting right now, things don't always work out. I can be honest with y'all about that.
Yeah.
Having a mother who does such a great job with her, man, it makes it easier to balance. So, throughout COVID, she recently moved back to Louisiana because her mom moved. So, we used to see each other, 12, 13 days out of the month. So I've had to fly more and adjust to it. But the way I've been able to do it, man, is like, that's always my number one priority. And that's the legacy. Like what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to open doors for her that'll make things easier for her, man. So the first thing is that, man, I just try to do correct time management, but I have to give so much of that credit to her mom, man, because
that's a beautiful.
I'm present as a dad, but y'all know, man, like at the end of the day, if you have the wrong mother of your child, it could be a long road.
I know. I look, my wife, I have a beautiful wife, beautiful sons. I have a daughter as well. She's 20 years old, and I went through that. I had her really young, and I know how that affected me and her mother. We all have blame outside of my daughter, me and her mom. We put each other through a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that, brother. So for you guys to have that rapport, even though you're not together, that's beautiful, because you don't really see that too much. You don't really see it too much.
You don't, man. And every chance I get, I always sing her mother's praises. That's she does a lot for that baby. She does a great job raising her. And we have a lot of people on both of our sides of our family who really, really pour into her, man. And she's just the greatest kid, but the problem is she's growing up around football so much, she repeats things that she hears.
Yeah.
Like one time she told a receiver she's like, yeah, but you body catch. And I'm like, no, bro, you gotta
relax.
So she gets to the point where she's starting to know the game. She and I and Tyree were out eating after church. So here we are sitting in church. Me, I'm 6'2", 6'3". Tyree standing up, and she's sitting in between us at church. And we go eat afterwards, and Tyree ordered a salad, because Tyree really trying to go into camp shredded. And I guess she had heard a conversation me and Tyree were having about where he wanted to go into camp. So he was getting up. Luckily, he didn't hear her. But Tyree's probably watching this now. He gets up and goes to the bathroom. She's like, good thing he's eating a salad, Dad, because he can't be fat going back to camp. And I'm just joking out, bro. She'll repeat some stuff, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
Bro, each one teach one, right? So you're where you are now, and eventually with our children, we always want them to be somewhere else, right? So hopefully she can be a GM, or she can be, an owner of a team based off of the groundwork that you're putting in, bro. And getting back to what you were saying about picking the right mother for your children, right? Man, that's a lesson that I always try to stress to a lot of young men, because for myself, right now, I'm in the ideal situation. Both of my children, my wife and I, we got married, we had our kids, and we've been together. And I would say that my daughters are both honor roll students and great kids, strictly because of the work that my wife puts in with my girls. You know what I mean? Because I'm at work all the time. You know what I mean? If you're a man, men should be out doing things and earning money. And so we're not always, like, we're there when we can be, but we're not always there every time for the little things. Sometimes we miss that. If I'm there for everything, I'm not really doing my job to provide, right? So what you said, man, a lot of people need to hear that, because it's not always about what she looked like. It's about what's up here. Because if you have children with a woman who's broken and doesn't really understand what's going on in life and doesn't have a good moral compass, that's going to rub off on your children. Like we say, energy, right? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just transmutes, right? So that bad energy is going to go into that child and transmute in a different way. So, man, that's right on time, bro.
That is fine.
Bro, and it's also just, something we impress on our athletes when we're talking, right? Like selecting that correct woman is important for y'all too, bro. Like it's not always the Instagram model with 500,000 followers. I'm sure there are lovely ladies that do have those jobs, and that but I'm just saying, like, find you a woman that has, like you said, that moral compass, that person that's understanding of who you are, but still challenges you to be the best iteration of yourself. Right. So we're able to talk about those things, man. And then that's things that don't show up on the stat sheet, when you're an agent, because I've seen every side of it. I've been a problem in relationships. I can admit that and be transparent. And I've been very transparent with them about my own growth and my own missteps. And that's why I think they're pretty receptive to a lot of things I tell them, not just about relationships, but just in being a professional, how they carry themselves as men.
Let me ask you, Paul, for these young guys, man, coming out of high school, coming out of college, how would a conversation go with you speaking to a young guy coming into this world, you know what I mean, where there's so much money, there's so much light? Like, how do you talk to these young kids and get them prepared for this? Because, I mean, or can you really truly ever be prepared for this? I mean, there's so much that goes into it. Like how do you tell a kid how to handle the light, how to handle the money? Like, you know what I mean? Because I know that's tough, man. Most of us come from nothing. Most of us, that played the game our entire lives, we came from nothing. So, when we get a little something, sometimes, shit gets a little crazy. You know what I mean? Like, how does the conversation go with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you talk to these kids or you talk to these guys coming into the league.
I think one of the first things you want to do, man, is be honest and be open. You can't just come give sermons, bro. Like, you can give all the sermons you want. Like, they're going to experience things that we never experienced before, right? Like, ain't nobody ever said, here's $3 million in one day. Like, nobody to us. That's generational life-altering money. So you have to give people grace and understand that they may make missteps along the way. I think all you can do is provide that roadmap and give them that level of guidance, making sure they're having proper people around them managing their finances, not engaged, having a no man in their camp. Yeah. Not a yes man, a no man, a person, like at least some level of a buffer between those people. Like some people, like their mom and just directly, that's their business. Like some people are obligated, and I'm talking about all these extraneous, man, let's start a car wash with a movie theater inside of it, like all those type of things you hear about. I think you provide that roadmap and just let them know what to be expected. I think that's what's great about our company. Not to plug our company in here, but
please plug it. Please. Come on.
It's our job to get some Raiders sent your way. That's what we want to do.
Hey, bro, I appreciate it. Look, but what I'm saying is, like, you getting that. Like, we have guys who are all played in the league. It's basically like DeMarcus Ware is there talking about things to them. Like, he's a part of. He and Hatcher are best friends. We like the access to all these pros. They're here for me. They're like, yeah, all right, bro. Like, your daddy a band director. You was never going to the league. All right. So, but when you hearing it from an Andre Garrard who's been through it, you're hearing it from a Jason Hatcher, or just talking to any of the Cowboy, any of the NFL players that we have access to in walking business. I think we're very equipped to at least let them know what's ahead. Like, look, we're going to let you know there's a cop behind that tree and you're going 85. If you still decide to do that, bro, that's on you. But our goal is to have you as prepared as possible, bro, and allow them. They're going to make mistakes. Like, they're going to go out and maybe run up a $10,000 tab at the club, bro. You know what? Hey, I'm going to give you a little grace on it, but let's not make it habitual, because I don't know what you've been through in your life. Maybe your whole life, your goal was to be the dude who popped the bottle one time and you just had to do it. Yeah. We all got that one thing that purchase. Like, I'm getting a walk-in business chain. I don't want to hear nothing, bro. Like, I got this chain right here. I ain't going to tell you how much it costs, but if they did the little diamond tester on it, it would not be green. But what I'm saying is, like, those guys, man, they work really. You kept it funky.
Hey, you kept it funky. I like that.
Yo. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, man.
If they do the same thing on these earrings, bro, we both be neck and neck. I'm telling you right now, bro.
It ain't real, bro. I just wanted to do a little razzle dazzle for y'all, man.
Nah, that's dope, bro. That's dope.
So like it's kind of giving them directions to the next intersection, like and showing them, listen, man, this and this can happen. It's up to you. Here's the directions where you want to go. But where I kind of wanted to go with this is that a lot of these players have people in their lives, right, that are like kind of the North Star for them morally, people that they respect. And I know that you guys try to kind of get a relationship with them, but for yourself, right? Who is that person in your life that you most want to impress? Who's that person in your life that you do this for, that is your sounding board, a person that you know, their opinion lands on you. Because I know doing this job, you can't hear all the voices. Like the peripheral voices aren't important, really. But whose opinion is important to you? Who drives you?
Bro, you in your bag right now with these questions. I was trying to think of, like, he making me get real, I'm gonna use a big word, pensive. I'm pensive right
wow. See, thank you. I need pensive will be the wasted word of the day tomorrow on the show. Raider Nation.
No, man.
Let's go.
Hopefully I'm making my English professors proud at something, you know, because you know the HBCUs, they think all we do is party and stroll. So they're like, look, man, we go to class. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. But that's a tough question. My moral sounding board, man. First of all, I'll be honest, bro. It has to be God. Yeah. I go to God first and foremost. I've joined the church a year ago in Dallas, almost a year ago to this day, and I've been praying and just seeking the mentorship of those guys who are within my men's Bible study group. Those are first. I go to them a lot. I go to God. I go to my pastor, and I go to my pastors back home too. So I really feel like being flanked and having protection over the top. Like, I know just me is not good enough. I need help. I need safety help, bro. I can't do this alone. So having that. There's also my group messages, man. I have friends who have been my friends my entire life who don't care whether or not I sign. They didn't see me lose in this business, bro. They didn't see me win, and they've loved me all the same. Right? Like, I talked to Graphk, my best friend my whole life, Graphk, Jarvis, Jonathan Sticks, all these guys, my cousins. I'm in a group message with them, Jamie, all those guys. I can talk to them when I'm having a bad day, bro. Like when I'm feeling effed up about it, bro, because there's going to be days as men, bro, like your mental health, you're not always there. Yeah. You're just not. You got the weight of the world on your shoulder. You're going to have off days. And it's in those off days, I'll talk to Jason Hatcher, who's not only my business partner, he's one of my best friends. He's able to bring me and my cousin Vic. It depends on what I need that day, right? You have different people in your life for different reasons. Sometimes you just want to have a friend just talk to you and crack jokes and talk about that. You know, I had a homeboy the other day, like, bro, like, it's cool, bro. Like, you peed in the bed till you were 12. You gonna overcome this. You know, like, people who know your history, like, sometimes they put that into perspective for you, bro. Like, for real, though. Like, having people, having a hometown. I'm on Facebook, man. Those people back where I'm from. That's why I told you. You can screenshot it. I said, bro, if I don't do nothing else, I gotta give a shout out to my hometown where I'm from. Because those people that had my back, man, just like, you know how hard it is to keep rooting for somebody. Like, this gonna be the year. Damn, it ain't the year. This is gonna be the year. So, but that same love, they never, for the most part, because, you know, small towns, there's some people, it wasn't always love with them. They trying to come back now. But for the most part, it was just that level of, like, people who poured into me and could see when I was down, supported me, championed me. Like, when I signed Jeffrey Simmons, well, when Jeffrey Simmons chose me, never forget I got the text. I had to go through a whole nother interview process, by the way. I walked in the room, I had a suit on. No, y'all don't understand. I would take y'all a little bit behind the lens because y'all my cousins. Hatcher called me, bro, and I've been with the company. So I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm thinking it's a done, like, all right, when it's time for him to, it's going to be you. Yeah. They told me, like, be here at a certain time. You're interviewing for the position. Bro, I walked into a building. And it's a glass building. I knew it was serious when I looked to my right and Hatch had a suit on.
Oh,
wow. I said, oh, shit. Jeffrey sitting there with his polo. Andre Guevara's there with a notebook.
Shit about to get real.
I'm sitting here like, bro, I'm calling. I'm on my phone. I'm praying. I'm listening to gospel. And I'm shaking. I'm like, if I fumble this, if I got to fumble this to see David Mulugeta or somebody negotiating this deal, I'm jumping off the bridge. So I get in there, bro. They asking me all these questions, and I'm knocking it out. Because, you know, I'm him. At this point, it's like, I know I'm like that. You know, I'm from, you know, so I go in there. I was popping my shit that day, and he asked one question. I was like, well, you know, per the set, I was doing it. Like, I was, and you could see Jeff was kind of like trying not to smile, but you knew he was proud of me. You could tell you, like, this my dog right here. Stood up. You know, I think we talked to Marcus Spears on the phone that night too. It was just a crazy night, bro. Like, you can't make it up. So back to what I was saying, like, I told that whole long story just to get to the point that, man, like, I've had people, man, that really rolled for me and believed in me, man. And it's crazy.
Let me ask you this, man, because we're all loving what Deion Sanders is doing right now. You know what I mean? In terms of putting, like, the HBCUs on the map. Like, we spoke privately about, you know, about your love for HBCUs, you know what I'm saying, and wanting to shout them. How do we get more? How do we get more athletes to go that way? Like if you had a pitch for some of these high level talent guys, how do we get them to say Alabama's cool, you know, this is cool, but go to Jackson State or go to these HBCUs and let's bring some more light that way. What like first of all, two-part question. Explain your love for them and how do we get more talent that way?
I mean, for me, man, the love for HBCU was just embedded in me at a young age. My mom went to Grambling State University. She's the first woman SGA president at Grambling. So, you know, I done been up at Grambling like as a kid. Yeah. You know, so like Eddie Robinson, there's just so much history there, so much culture. You know, and back in the day, man, what a lot of people don't know, like a lot of the NFL Hall of Fame come from HBCUs. It was so recently that like the high tier, like the major guys were even allowed to go to some of those schools. So I think I would start with just the historical context. I think a lot of these guys, when you hear HBCU, they think the movie Drumline, they think the bands. They don't always associate HBCUs with having high quality football all the time. You know, they look at it like, bro, the game came on BET, like Plus, right after Baby Boy. They don't give us that level of, you know, respect. So I think the first thing is just explaining to them that, like, bro, there is culture, there is history. This is not some anomaly that, right? But it's also just understanding too. Like, bro, I get it. You want to go play for SEC and respect people's decisions. Like, I don't, you know what? It's not for everybody. If you're a unique guy and you need that opportunity and HBCU, you find that correct coaching staff, because HBCUs have a job too. We have to do better internally as far as like making sure we got the proper training. You want to check off all those boxes, because if we being honest, some of those weight rooms don't look as good as Alabama, and some of they don't look the way. So some of that, and a lot of that is on the alumni and endowment, getting the resources. So we got to be ready for it too, man. So I think the pitch is, one, you make those pitches, but we have to prepare on our side too to not give them a reason not to come. Because right now they can come up with these reasons like, bro, the level of competition, and they're looking at the NFL draft. Like last year, Southern had a Jatari Carter got drafted from Southern. 7th round pick, should have gone higher. So the more that you see those guys, Jacoby from South Carolina State, the more you see guys from the HBCU, Darius Leonard, the more HBCU guys that we see that are producing, that's also opening the door.
Definitely.
Like that's a constant commercial.
Yeah. I see, it's all in narrative, right? Because when you, like you said, and that, it made me laugh when people made such a big deal about Deion Sanders signing such a top player. Because for me, when you look back, there's these names in the annals of NFL history that, don't you realize where they came from? Yeah. Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Gene Upshaw, you know, Willie Davis. Yep. All of these guys, people don't realize that, like, Ozzie Newsome is one of the first players of color to play at Alabama. That's how recent it's been. Yeah. So it's like, you got to realize these things. You got to realize that this was the backbone of the Black community. Thanks. And it's important to preserve that and bring it to the next, you know, line of where it's going to go now. And I think what they've done is, and I think the NCAA at this point is going to have an issue, because now these young brothers can get paid. Yeah. Right. And now that is really, I think, the door that's going to open up for HBCUs to do well, because now the world is a lot smaller now because of social media. You don't necessarily, it's the same thing in the NBA. It was this thing where when you had free agency come into play in the NBA, people were always running to get to big markets and marketable teams. Yeah. But now you don't have to play in New York City to have a bunch of endorsements anymore because of social media. And you don't necessarily have to play at Ohio State or Alabama or USC to have a lot of, like, that was it, NFT money or whatever it's called. You don't need that. All you need to do is be that guy. Yeah.
No, you can definitely be in Sacramento with Fashion Nova ads now, and that's facts, bro.
Which is why it was so troubling for me when Nick Saban made that remark about. I'm like, come on now, Nick. Like, bro, you know what's up. Like, just because them challenges not cutting it no more, you want to be out here being you know, don't be that guy, Nick. Don't be that dude. Yeah. I think, man, I think it's just it's not gonna happen all overnight. And I know people hate when you say the patience, but you know, the Hunter kid going to Jackson State, that's a big step, right? I think what's gonna happen is you'll start to see more more skill position guys go maybe because we haven't really seen like a high O lineman just yet, right? Sign like a 5-star O line because they're going to those schools where they want to show a higher level week in week out. They're going to go to those SEC. That's what but you just year by year, man, it's going to be a process. I think, like you said, understanding the narrative, making sure those coaching staffs are competent and having league guys around those people, like respected guys in the league in those locker rooms to help teach them how to be pros so that when they do get to the league, they're ready. A lot of those HBCU guys, bro, and I've heard this from teams and have been represented, they said some of those guys come into camp and they really are good, but they're so far behind in like the whiteboard and the knowledge, and there's nothing against them. It's just that they're behind. So as HBCUs, we have to do a better job, a really good job of preparing them. So when they get there, they have a fighting chance in camp. So because they're able to go in there and get the reps and play fast because they know what's going on.
Yeah. So when you see players, right, how much of a difference? Because what people don't realize is there is not as much of a gap between, say, for instance, a Hall of Fame level player and a guy that's struggling to get on the roster. Like there are other factors that besides athletic, I mean this as far as athletic ability, like there's things like discipline and knowledge of the game. How much of a finite line is there between a person like Simmons and just the guy that's struggling to get on the roster, man? Like as far as like ability, like from the naked eye, from what you could see.
I mean, what you do see is like, honestly, when people always make the comment like, oh, that guy couldn't get on the team. He was a practice squad guy. He bounced around. Like they want to call him a bust or act like they weren't successful. Man, anybody can get to that level of NFL, but you in that 1%.
No, definitely. Oh, shoot. We tripping. Wi-Fi good on your end?
I'm cool.
Let me see. Let me try to get Paul back in real quick. Hold on real quick. Froze up. Hold on. Shout out to Paul. Hey, man, waste my dog. This is so dope, brother. For real.
Nah, it is, man. I really appreciate being in on this.
No, definitely. You coming with them questions, man. Shout out to everybody here in the comments section as well. We appreciate you guys. Paul, jump right back in. Something happened with the Wi-Fi. Shout out to KT. I haven't got a chance to check it out, my brother, but Abram did collide with Roderick Teamer. They are both okay. They both walked off the field on their own power, so they're good to go. Shout out to KT, but I will definitely check that out. Let's get some comments in while we wait for Paul real quick. We're gonna wrap it up here shortly as well because we're gonna have Paul on a lot more. This is someone that we want to have in. I'm gonna come in, sparingly and shoot this shit with a shout out to my dog Paul, man. You good, bro?
Oh yeah, I'm bad. I'm my bad, bro. I don't know what happened.
No. It's all good. It's all good.
I think we were the last thing I think I remember saying was just like those guys are in the 1%, man. So like to say it ain't really that much of a big, like some guys are just generational talents, right? Like they just different. Jeffrey Simmons walks, you see somebody get off the ball like that. He just a force of nature. So not to go agent talk, but that's a tough. Let's just say like a mid-level guy. We're not gonna compare Jeff to like that dude just different.
Hey, don't do that
in any lifetime. But I see what you're saying. Like I think the difference comes down to how they take care of their bodies. Like it's the little things, bro. Like how do you take care of your body? How do you prepare? How do you study film? Are you one of those guys that like you can't play fast because you don't have knowledge? Some guys are more instinctive than others, bro. It's so many things that goes into play. And that's not just in football. That's in any sport. It ain't much, bro. It's just like, for example, like some wide receiver, you'll see guys come out of their breaks better than others, right? Or you see some guys who just have an innate ability to make contested catches. Certain guys just know their limitations. They know their skill set, and they're just good at that. And they become great at something, and they stick. So it ain't really, bro, it's not just one thing where you can look at a guy. Most times, these guys go, like, it ain't that much of a difference, but when you just watch from the naked eye, you can see that maybe some guy just has unique physical attributes. Sometimes a guy is just, bro, look at his arms. Like he's just better than everybody. He's quicker off of the ball. But some of the things, the intangibles will help keep you around for a long time. Like you look at Renfro, for example.
Yeah.
Like you some of the combo, you're like, but then the more you look at it, you're like, bro, he do stick his route. Like you start looking at it, you like, just looking at him, he look like a regular dude that go to Supercuts. Yeah. Like, oh, hey, what's up, dog? Like, I'm picking him last so he go play basketball. But, things like that, man, you just start – some people just have it. And I think those football evaluators, for the most part, do a good job of seeing it.
Yeah, see, I wanted to ask that question for a reason because, you know, we do these shows every day. We do live shows. We give our opinions a lot of time. And I need for people that watch the game and comment on the game because we're passionate about our teams. We're passionate about our Raiders. Everyone in here, you know, Built Different is kind of a vehicle for us to be able to step into a direction to talk about other things, right? Things that are important. Because this is supposed to be a platform that's going to make our audience and ourselves and the guests make us all get together and be better, right? Yeah. I want everybody to realize how great these players that we're talking about are, and that there are different things that make a great player. Now, look, like we said, you got guys that are just generational. They're different. You see them, you're like, okay, this guy ain't like the rest. Like I never forget, I was down in Virginia Beach during spring break, you know, Black Bike Week, and I saw Julius Peppers when he was at University of North Carolina, and it's like
crazy.
And then we saw him when we were in Vegas at the draft. We saw him going into. Remember, we was coming to when we were all together, and he's walking in. He looks like a demigod. Yeah. He does not look like everyone else. Yeah, and you see that, and you're like, wow,
bro.
But then there are other players that look like that, and you wonder why they didn't make like a guy like, say, for instance, I'm gonna jog y'all memory a little bit. Darrell Green Beckham.
Damn.
6'6" wide receiver.
Hey,
you see that guy? You're like, what happened?
Oklahoma State?
Nah, Missouri. I think.
Missouri.
Was it Missouri?
Yeah.
Who am I thinking about that came out of Oklahoma State?
You thinking about
the guy Justin Blackman?
Justin Blackman. They went to Jacksonville. Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguar. Actually did. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
But the thing is, bro, like what I'm saying is like people don't realize, man, so much of your success in football is also this scheme and where you're drafted and where you're at. You might be a great player, but it might not be the right fit for you. Case in point, like me and Hatcher were talking one day. He made his Pro Bowl the year when he had Rob Marinelli as a DC. Like so much of that, bro, is based on the situation. Based on the situations that people put you in, man. So some of you have a great guy, but he don't fit in the 3-4 scheme. You know, like let him go play somewhere where he can. So you got to give those players a little bit of grace, man. In the NFL, a lot of times you don't have time to develop. A lot of those guys got cut, and maybe they had one more year, another opportunity, but they ain't got the patience for it. You know, so bro, there's a myriad of factors that goes into it. But that's why you really got to be blessed. Sometimes it just all comes together. You're in the right place at the right time, and you healthy. So much has to go right, man, for you to be a star or be just a guy in the NFL.
Yeah. That's the reason why the USFL and the XFL that's coming up now are such I think is going to be a valuable tool for professional football. I think the product on the field in the National Football League is going to improve because of those leagues. Because like in baseball, you can send somebody down to the minors. Yeah, and we've never had that in professional football. We had that in the 80s, the early 80s. I remember the old USFL. But now that you have a that's why I want to get more into the USFL. Because I believe it could be a feeder pool to the National Football League besides Canada, because in Canada, they're playing a totally different game. Yeah. The fields are different size. The rules are different. It's kind of a hard adjustment. But with this, it's going to be a great thing. I have one more question, and I'm going to be quiet for the rest of the day.
Man, I got a couple on the way out, too, because I want to end this on a Raider note as well. So I got some. Go ahead.
Same too. And that was where I was going with it. Okay. So I don't want to steal your thunder, brother.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Around league circles and the players that you around, what is the narrative about what the Raiders are doing currently, man? Like, has the perception of the silver and black changed with players now? To you, being a guy that like can see behind the curtain, is this a destination that players want to play at and value?
Absolutely. I mean, bro, I went there for the Pro Bowl. I was there, obviously, in the stadium. Amazing. And that Raiders fan base, man. You talk about, the first I ever knew about the Raiders was 1983 John Madden, right? They won Super Bowl. That's when Madden was my bro. Don't get me started about Madden. I remember everybody got a story when they got their first Madden. I got Madden 92. I had a Sega. I used to play in the snow with Buffalo Bills, Thurman Thomas. I could not be my cousin watching this now. He still got a losing record against me. You know what's up. I ain't gonna put you out there, but
Don Beebe, Thurman Thomas, Kelly, man, Jim Kelly. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. Back then they were different.
The Raiders, man. That mystique, the black and silver, the uniform, bro. Like, come on, and I think players want to go to a place where, they trust the front office. where they see the coach, McDaniel.
Yeah.
You see a team that's on the rise. You see a team that committed, like they paid. Crosby got paid. Derrick Carr got paid. They showed a willingness to spend in free agency. So I think that people feel like man, look, everybody talking about the Chiefs. Everybody talking the Raiders can win 11 games this year. Like, it's not a team. They lost to the Bengals in the playoffs. They could have won that game. You got Darren Waller. You got all this talent and a legit elite quarterback, if you're asking me. So I think
I like that, because I was going to ask you about Derek Carr, and you went there already. And
Derek Carr, that guy. Derek Carr is that guy. And Reggie McKenzie was saying he couldn't believe he was there at 35 or wherever he got him.
Yeah.
And he also said, like, he felt like he felt in the process because people held his brother against him. As if y'all watch this, we had a brother who went one, and his brother wasn't even a bust. His brother had like parking lot attendants blocking for him. Dude, like, no quarterback is good if they can't stand up. Yeah. So I think the Raiders are a team to be reckoned with, bro. And you playing in Vegas. I mean, obviously, I think y'all character background of guys in the draft process, you have to make sure that they can handle Vegas. So I think the evaluation of prospects changes a little bit too. Can you handle Vegas and what comes with it? But who wouldn't want to live in Vegas? What, state-free tax too? No tax.
That's where I was going to go, because as an agent, do you salivate thinking about Nevada, Florida, like Texas, like these states that have that it's like, okay, if one of these teams are available, I'd rather go that route so we can eat a little more.
You say that, but you're not going to put a guy in a bad place just for a couple more. I know that sounds terrible.
No, I agree.
But you're not, like, Tennessee is a no state tax, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's a give and take, because some of those state teams are small market type. You can make that up another. As an agent, you're always figuring out where you can make up that money either way it goes, whether it's state rate. But it's in the back of your mind. You're always gonna think about it. If you can add an M or two, it's ideal. But it does. I don't think it tips the scale. It's just one of many factors when you're writing out your destination.
You'd rather have your client be able to be put in a place where he can potentially win, but also can potentially be there for the, as long, they have the longest career possible. You know what I mean? Like you were saying about David Carr, you went to the Texans, you have an O-line that is one of the worst of all time. Your guy's going to die a horrible death. And at that point, you lose that confidence. That's why we were very nervous about DC in 2016 when he went down and broke his ankle, because watching his brother struggle throughout the league to even get a job pretty much after Houston, and to see him, it's a lot of it's psyche, it's in your head, you know what I mean, a lot of it, you know what I mean. So to see DC still put up 3 Pro Bowl years, last year still play, and I'm one of those guys, I'm very, very critical of DC. I like DC a lot, but I'm one of those guys where the Al Davis gotta win. Like it has to translate to wins. And I know we have not put the best product around him. I get it. I understand that completely. But you wanted him to win, right? Because the God-fearing, like just the good man, the father, you know what I mean? Like the husband, he's just a good guy. You want them kind of guys to win. Do you think with us, I know you said 11 wins, with Devontae Adams, like does that propel, because these guys are best friends, they went to college together, Fresno State. Does that take DC to another level this year? Like, just why I know, like you said, you got your guys, you have a brotherhood. So you guys bring the best out of each other. Is this going to be a year where Derek Carr is unlocked way more than ever before, just because of Devontae Adams being there? I mean, Renfro and Waller as well, but you bring in Adams, bro, that is different.
And I think it changes how teams game plan too. Like, when you have an Adams, people don't realize you got to bring an extra safety. You got help. There's only so many teams. So it changes. It unlocks so much in your offense. It even helps the running game. Yeah. It helps so many things, man. I think Adams is gonna catch 100 balls. He's gonna be him, bro. That guy, he's different. If he ain't one, he at least 1A. Yeah. So, and you got Waller, you got all these matchups, all these pieces, and Josh McDaniels, who I think, man, I think he's learned. People forget all the time. People think Bill Belichick, they don't really talk about the Browns no more. And the reason nobody talk about what happened when he was with the Browns, because he grew. And I think McDaniels is very smart. And I think he's going to put those guys. I think offense is going to be crazy. I think offense is going to be crazy.
I see you just had a conversation not too long ago with Marcus Allen and Ronnie Lott, two former Raider guys as well that we love over here. We know that Ronnie Lott is going to be known mostly for being a 49er, but he's a Raider as well. How do those conversations go when you get in a room and you're around Hall of Fame guys like a Ronnie Lott or a Marcus Allen? Like, do you fan out, or is it like you just pick their brain as much as possible to try and gain as much knowledge? Because I mean, those guys just have.
Yeah, that was crazy because that was at Charles Haley has an event called Tackle for Tomorrow in Dallas. So I went with Hatcher. So I'm Hatcher's +1. I was just there, and I saw Marcus Allen first, and it's crazy. They just down there interacting with everybody, man. I try to not act like a fan. I just go there with a spirit of humility to speak to them like normal people. You pick your spots. Don't really go up to somebody eating. You're gonna find that window. It's kind of like double dutch. You wait, and you try to find something with a level of commonality. Like with Marcus Allen, it was an easy conversation. And it was funny because, like, I took a picture with him, and in the comments, all the aunties and all the ladies, they was like, oh, he's still fine. And this, Marcus Allen was that guy. So we actually were just talking a little bit about USC, his time with the Chiefs, because you can make that, talk about Al Davis. And we sat and talked for like 15, 20 minutes. I'm not saying he'd remember me in life because he'd met so many people, but I mean, anytime you get a chance to be around those guys, man, you make the most of it. I try not to fan out. I try to, because I want, I view myself like I'm gonna be somebody in this business, but I still have to acknowledge that, bro, it's Marcus Allen. I ain't done nothing yet to warrant being too cool around Marcus Allen.
Yeah. I like this question, Waste, and I want to end this because I want to make sure, right, moving forward, like Paul is going to be a guest now moving forward. So we got to save some questions because I got a lot. I will talk to Paul all damn night about football. I know Wasted will as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to our little brother, Andy. I love this question, and I know you can't go too deep into it, but he says, does A.J. Brown's situation on draft night make you as an agent second guess Tennessee's loyalty, especially after the head coach publicly said he won't be shipped out no matter what? Does the A.J. Brown situation kind of play a factor into you looking at Tennessee moving forward? Or how did you look at that situation?
The crazy part is Jeff and I were sitting next to each other watching the draft. And he looked at his phone. He had like a little alert. And he's like, ain't no way. So when A.J. Brown it was a shock to everybody. First of all, A.J.'s they grew up together. They got the special on YouTube. They played against each other from junior high on. AJ's a great player. Let me say that first and foremost. So your team, I don't think anybody gets better not having AJ Brown around. He's a great player. But man, it goes back to that business side of football. When we're not privy to the internal, I think his agent is Tory Dandy. When you're not privy to what those conversations are, man, you really don't know what happened. Yeah. So it could have been, you don't know what happened as to why. You don't know who was wrong in those situations. And in my situation, I take a person for how they are when they deal with me and what that is. I don't go into it inheriting beef. And, Jeffrey either, Tennessee took a chance on, they picked them, Miss Amy is the owner at pick 19. There's been nothing but love in Nashville, and they've been nothing but straightforward. Yeah. And with everything, every conversation I've ever had with J. Rob, every conversation Jeffrey's had with me has been straightforward. Okay. So I don't look at that situation. I can't, there's been other situations, Derrick Henry's situation turned out fine, right? Like Derrick Henry's still there, they've retained Taylor Lewan. You can go on and on. Look, I got a whole sheet of papers where they did right by people. Roger Sapple, I think I don't look at it like that.
You don't judge them off that one situation.
You can't, because every situation, bro. If you look at any 32 teams, there's going to be an ugly situation in free agency or somebody like that. That's just the business of football. We look forward to having that opportunity to have a meaningful dialogue. And obviously you want to stay with the team that drafted you and be there long term. But we're going into it with an open mind. And that's all you really can do, bro. And I'm not trying to give you like the Can Kobe answer. I'm keeping it 100 with y'all. Like, you can't go into it thinking I'm a hard up with them because of what happened. Jeffrey Simmons is not A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is a different situation. He's a different player. He's a different position. Yeah. Wide receiver, things happened in that wide receiver market that kind of upset the entire market with the Christian Kirk. there's so many extrinsic factors that happen, bro. So this is going to be a unique situation, and hopefully, things can go about smoothly.
Well, they went and got my guy Treylon Burks. That was my number one guy, my number one receiver in this draft. So maybe he steps in day one and takes over AJ. I got to ask this because you said Derrick Henry real quick. How much does Derrick Henry and that O-line, because that's a nice O-line they got in Tennessee, make your guy Simmons that much better? Like, is there any stories that he tells you like Derrick Henry is like a freight train, bro? He has to practice against this guy year round. Have you heard anything from Simmons like, holy shit, like this is different?
I mean, I think a lot of it ain't even like from them practicing against it, because they only hitting so much these days in practice. But I've heard stories about like the sound, like just being on the field, like truck collision. Like I don't know if you saw after Jeff made that play against Buffalo on Monday Night Football when they said Josh Allen slipped. He did not slip. That was Jeffrey Simmons being Jeffrey Simmons. But he went and hugged Derrick Henry, and they about the same size. So he's like, you just see the dude. He's a specimen, like you said when you saw somebody who you were talking about. Yeah, he's just a different guy, man, and what he brings to the team. But there's no story out here like him running over. And even if he ever ran Jeff over, Jeff wouldn't have told us anyway. Like Jeffrey Simmons is never wrong. He and I debate about everything. He would never admit to getting ran over, even if it happened. So we would never know.
Is there a guy that Tyree has gravitated to out there in Baltimore? Being a young guy.
Good question, man. I think in that room, man, he's first of all, he's Calais Campbell's been somebody who he's really taken to. There's the Ronnie Stanley. All those guys really, they like Tyree, man, because Tyree came into this league, didn't start playing football until senior year, went JUCO, played in a band in high school. He actually plays like 8 instruments. Excellent vocalist too. So, he learned a lot along the way just from being around those guys, man. And he loves Lamar with all of his heart. So that O-line room in Baltimore has been really good to him. And then, he started in 13 games so far in 2 years. Had a little knee injury, but he's going to go into camp this year. If he does what he has to do, man, we could very well be in another Pro Bowl.
I was talking to Tyree about that. He said he's feeling really good right now. When we were out there at the camp, he said he's feeling really good. So it's good to see he's coming over, getting over that, man. Go ahead, Wasted.
Brother, you know what, man? I wanted to say this, in conclusion, or wherever we're going with this. You can feel energy, bro. We always talk about energy. Brother, the level of authenticity and humility and expertise that just comes through just from talking to you, bro. If I was a professional athlete, you definitely would be my agent, bro. Much success to you. Much success to everybody that you have and you represent. And I hope and I pray that you send a player that can impact the Raiders our way one day, brother. I hope so, man.
I hope so too, man. And I just want to thank you, man. That I know we get into the flower giving segment of our show, but man, y'all don't know. I'm excited anytime you get these opportunities, man, because I know what it's like to sit in a room and nobody know you in this business and nobody even give a damn about what you have to say. And those moments humbled me and they hardened me. And I said, any chance that I ever get there, I'm gonna do my best to remain myself. No matter if I'm representing a first round, Jeffrey Simmons or a back end guy, I'm gonna give it the same level of effort. So the fact that you see that in me, man, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And I think we at Walking Business, we going in the right direction. The agent is only as good as the players that he signs. Yeah. We don't know none of these agents if they don't have elite players. That's the truth. Like people always say, "Oh, the agent got the player paid." No, the player got the player paid. The agent helped negotiate the contract, and that's the way I look at it. That's the way I want to do business, man. And any chance I get to talk about ball or interact with guys like you, man, this ain't even seem like this was an hour and something, man. It felt like I was in the barbershop. Yeah, it felt like I was in the barbershop, man, and like to have that level of like love for the game that started with my mom taking me to football games or sitting in the barbershop all day. Because now you can make appointments to get your hair cut. When I was growing up,
we had to wait long for 2 hours.
Bro, I used to go to Mr. Graham. I really started loving football because I would go there, and if somebody got the best of me in a sports argument, I had to go back with my notes. And, my mama wouldn't let me get my haircut every week. It was every other week.
Yeah.
I'd be writing my little notes. I'm like, next time I'm on his ass, you know? So like I got my love, like that love of sports, man, come from growing up, just like being in the barbershop. So that's what this feels like. This feels like, man, I'm just sitting in the barbershop, and hopefully we can do subsequent shows and if anything, y'all, because y'all made me better today. Like
I was gonna ask
some good questions.
I was gonna ask.
I appreciate it, man.
We do a mental health segment over here too. I try to do as many mental health shows as possible, man. I would love to bring you on because I know you mentioned mental health earlier. It'd be great to have you come on and speak about something even else outside of football. You know what I mean? Because that's what we do here. We talk about everything, marriage. You know what I mean?
Life.
Yeah, but it's just 90%. Don't get me wrong. Maybe 95% sports. It's 95, but that other 5%, we pride ourselves. You know what I mean, on talking about other stuff. So we would love to bring you in and talk about mental health, talk about, you know, your relationship with God, whatever it is, brother. You have a home here with us. For everybody that wants to know a little bit more about where Paul is, you guys go to walkingbusinessgroup.com. Go check it out. You know what I mean? You can see a little bit more about what they got going on over there. Paul, let everybody know real quick on the way out where they can follow you at, brother.
Oh, okay, cool, man. Paul, all my social media handles are the same at Paul Derousselle, PAULDEROUSSELLE. I think I got like 5,000 followers now, man. So you know, I'm getting there, man. I'm
bossing up on him. Bossing up on him, brother.
Listen, coming, man. I'm trying.
My platform, Graphk's platform, is always a home to you and anybody that you're connected with, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Oh man, thank you guys for the opportunity. I really appreciate it, man. And anytime, man, anytime. And hopefully, you know, next time I come back, I have a bigger smile. We, you know, get all my guys to what they need to
get. Have that. Well, you know, we're gonna have you on way before that, but you're gonna have that big chain on. You know what I'm saying? You got that joint on.
Man.
real quick too, you guys, for those who don't know, we do have this show coming up this upcoming week with Jordan Schultz. So you guys stay tuned for that. You know, and I'm still gonna connect the dots on that. I want my brother Paul to get with Jordan Schultz. Y'all need to work it, man.
I need it, man. You know I need it, man. Look, I talked to Adam Schefter the other day. So maybe I get Jordan next, man. You know, I'm that close to getting the ESPN, man.
I'm linking y'all. That is my goal this week, is to have my man Paul and Jordan Schultz like this, so they texting back and forth and they can figure it out. You know what I mean? Y'all can do all that. So that is the goal, and I'm gonna make sure to let him know, because I'm actually about to DM him on Twitter and follow up with our show this week. So I'll let him know. You know what I mean? That we got to get you guys together, man. Definitely, brother.
Yo, wait till next year. We gonna have Stephen A. Smith. You know, Paul Derousselle is a dear friend of mine. You know, shout out to watch. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
Yo. Hey, I'm trying to be at the I was watching the ESPYs, man. I text Jeff. I said, Jeff, we at the ESPYs next year, bro. Me, you, Jeff, and Tyree, we at the ESPYs, man. I gotta get there, man. I gotta get to Bristol, man. I gotta get there. And that's the whole point as an agent, right? You don't want to be the agent. Like, it almost makes you want to hold out just so they can say your name on the little ticker.
Yeah.
Like, we spoke per his agent, and knowing I should have got the deal done, you start making it about yourself. But we ain't gonna do that, though.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, the way you working and the way you know that God is guiding you, man, like you on that trajectory, brother. I'm telling you right now, sky's the limit. With us just picking your brain today and me speaking to you the other day, like I said before, I believe in energy. There was a reason why we sat down and talked. My sons even told me, and mind you, these guys, they just turned 9 yesterday. You know what I mean, or the day before yesterday, and they're so quick, like they forget people so fast. So when I said I'm doing this show tonight, they're like, tell them we said hi, like, because you made that kind of impact and that impression. So I can only imagine what you do with the people around you daily, my brother. Keep that energy. Please do not change, and great things are going to continue to serve, to happen around you, man. And it's a privilege for us to have you on our show. I'm looking forward to it again. Let's talk in the DM. Actually, bang your line over to me, man, because I definitely want to get with you sometime here soon. Like I said, a coffee, cigar. Let's sit down and chop it up. We're both in the same area, you know what I mean? So it makes sense to you know what I mean, to sit down and rock out, man. But shout out to everybody also in the chat, man. We appreciate you guys. You guys stuck with us the whole time. Shout out to everybody else. The 33, is it the 337?
Eunice, Louisiana, Southern University, all that, man. I know my mama in there somewhere. Look, if nobody watching, I said if it was one person in my mama and my auntie was gonna be there. You know, I say auntie where I'm from. We don't say auntie. It's an auntie.
Yeah.
Auntie.
Oh no. Hey, yeah. It's always auntie. This is fact.
Yeah, okay, I just making sure.
Yeah, it's always auntie. It was auntie and TT, man. That's how we rock. You know what I mean? So, but shout out to everybody that came in to rock with Paul, and also our Raider Nation family, brothers and sisters. We love you guys, man. Please hit that subscribe button. Also, while you're here, wipe them feet, you guys. Y'all know what that means. Hit that thumbs up. And we are looking forward to building more and more with our brother Paul Derousselle, man. Thank you so much, brother. And I'm gonna hit you in the DM right now. Wasted. I'm gonna call you in a second as well, brother, so we can work on these next moves we got. I got some stuff, Paul, that I actually want to talk to you about because I think you would love to be, get down with us.
I'm with it, man. I love when the universal lines, man. Thank you guys again. I hope you have a great, productive rest of the week too, man.
My brother, appreciate you for being here. And real quick, on the way out, Cynthia Turk, Auntie here, Auntie here, TT here. There we go.
I love it. I love it.
That's my auntie, man. Look, my auntie, she cuss anybody out behind me, bro.
Everybody
got that one auntie.
There you
not
go.
play about you. She is gonna call me as soon as the show's over. Watch.
I love it.
Right
I love it.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
My brother, have a great night, man. Shout out to the chat. We love y'all, man. We out.
All right, man. Good night.